Hi, I'm Pete Holloway. I'm a retired financial advisor and a retired certified financial planner. And as always, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to On Money. We've been talking to a lot of entrepreneurs recently, and it struck me I've never talked to anybody in the music field. My guest today is Isaiah Keez. He was born in Hollywood, Florida, moved to Wheeling in 2014. He graduated from Martinsburg High School in West Virginia and is a graduate of Marshall in criminal justice. He's married and has an 8-year-old daughter. He's in the music industry and in the rap industry. And I want to welcome you and tell us, can you give us a brief history of rap and why it particularly attracted you?
Well, first, Pete, thank you for having me on the show and everything like that. I'm honored. So, for just a brief history of just hip hop, it derived from a cocktail of different genres per se. There's elements of jazz, blues, R&B. There's so many different elements, even rock at certain points there. And it's just one of the things that I believe, as a originally part of Black culture, or started with Black culture and then expanded from there. Black people, Black culture, we've learned over the time in our history being in this country and taking the little things that we have and making the best of it by putting it together in a special way. So I think that's how hip hop kind of arose. It was a time where, what I mean, people were coming to be a little bit more, how do I say, rebellious per se, and openly rebellious to the status quo and things of that nature, and wanting to express ourselves in different ways. So that's where I would believe it created. And for me, it was always music was a thing that carried the spirit of your areas, or the areas where it came from, right? It was kind of how you got to know rappers in Cali and what it's like to be in Cali or live in California. You kind of got a glimpse of the South and their style, that more country, like upbeat tempo. If you go to the South, you'll feel that when you're in that presence of that area. And then you go to New York, it was real gritty. It was, hardcore. That's New York. That's just what it is. It's that cutthroat, hard to make it type of environment. And so I think that is what hip hop meant to me. It was a way to discover, what other people were seeing in their upbringings or in their environments. And it painted pictures for me. So I've always loved music in general, but that was what rap is for me per se.
That was a terrific explanation. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your career. Now, you decided to become a rap artist, and breaking in has to be tough. How long have you been doing it? And tell us some of the things some of the performances you've given and so forth.
Absolutely. So for me, I started a little bit later in life than most artists. I didn't grow up, from a kid rapping, and this hasn't always been my dream from the beginning. I was, pursuing most of my life sports. I was a football player, basketball player, played football in college, pro arena football. So, I was really enjoying that. Then I got into coaching once I moved up here to the Wheeling area and things like that. I coached at John Marshall High and Bishop Donahue before they closed down. And so that was my life for a while, but music was like just something that I always used that was therapeutic. The music, I have a wide range. I don't just listen to rap. Growing up, my parents are pastors. So I wasn't allowed to really listen to rap in their house per se. I was listening to gospel music, oldies, Frankie Lyman's, OJ's, Temptations, Stevie Wonder's. Like that's what I grew up on, but my brothers who were 5 and 7 years older, they always had to drag me around everywhere. So I'm hearing, hip hop and the rap music and things like that when I'm with them or maybe with friends. And so I have a wide taste in music per se. And once COVID happened, I wrote poetry all the time. That was my hobby. That was a way for getting things off my chest, but it was private. I never told anybody about it. I never showed people it. It was just something that was for me. And one of my best friends, his name's JJ, but his artist name is Vino Benz. He's been rapping for 9, 10 plus years. And I was just starting as a support of him. I believed in him. I'm like, look, whatever you need, if you need me to learn how to be a manager, you need me to just, be a roadie guy and support you, whatever. I was running my father-in-law's business. He came on the road to work with me. During the day we worked, during night we chased the dream. And we got to travel the country doing that. And as we were together, he started to see me writing a lot because, that was more private, but we're in the hotel together. You can't hide from each other. So he's seeing me, just asking what it is. And then, kind of pressuring me a little bit, like, man, let me hear something, So I let him hear. And he's like, man, that's real dope. Like, that's good. And then, going to the studio with him and things like that. One day, because he was like, man, I think you could rap. You got the voice for it. You got the look. Like, man, you should just try it. And I'm like, yeah, I wasn't really looking to do that. But we went to the studio one day. He drove, and basically he wouldn't let me leave the studio until I made a song. He was kind of like, you're going to do one, man. I was
That's
like, all right,
great.
let's do it. And it turned out pretty good. And just kind of went off to the races after that with it, So
How do you find a gig?
it's an interesting thing. It's a process you have to kind of go through, especially locally where you're from. One of the hardest places to make it as a musician or artist is where you're from, because when you go to these other places out of town to maybe perform and things like that, they know you as strictly who you are as an artist. So my name is Isaiah Keez. That's my real full name, but they see Isaiah Keez and his music. People that are back home, they see Isaiah Albert, who's trying to be Isaiah Keys. And it's kind of like I have to convince them to take me serious as an artist. So it's a lot harder where you're from. But a lot of the times, what you kind of have to do in this industry is you have to pay to play. You have to pay to get on certain platforms, certain stages, things of that nature to kind of make a name for yourself. Once you build up your story and make a name for yourself, then you start getting invitations. Then you start getting booked, paid to perform at places. So it's a little bit of a process. You got to invest in believing yourself at first. But if you do so and you stay consistent, it'll come back, and you'll see it to where you're not necessarily paying, but you're making money to perform now.
Tell us a couple places that you performed.
Ah, man. So I performed in Brooklyn, New York. I opened up for, famous rapper Trina from the 2000s era. I performed at South by Southwest this year, 3 different times there. Opened up for Lola Brooke, who's a current relevant artist right now out of Brooklyn, New York. I've performed at Ugly Money Fest down in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, he's a big time manager down there, and he has a festival every year that's big. So I performed down there. Let's see. Oh, I can't forget. One of my most proud moments since I've been doing music was last summer. I went and I was one of the headlining acts for the Celebrate America tour with the Wheeling Symphony Orchestra. So that was
That's where I first saw you.
absolutely, that was one of the most awesome times that I've ever had at any performance, because it was a process. This was not some short time. It was about a 6-month process. It started with John Devlin, Maestro John Devlin, approaching me about it, selecting the songs. Then I had to send them the songs and the lyrics, so then they could get it made out into the music notes for the different instrumentalists. And then we also, one of the headliners that was with us was Eli and the Mojo Kings. So me and Eli had to get together because we collaborated on a couple of different songs. So we had to meet up and practice and learn each other's music and things of that nature. So this was about a 6-month process before we actually got to the summer and actually, did the tour. And it was one of those things I'm most proud of, because I've looked very, very hard. And the only other rap artist that I found that did anything like this was Nas. So to be in a category with somebody like that, an artist that's legendary like that, and to do something that only he's done, that was a pretty proud moment for me.
That's good company.
Absolutely,
Now
absolutely,
you're a bit of an entrepreneur. Tell us about your line of apparel too.
absolutely. It's called Dangerous Apparel. It's Danger and then US. And for me, it stands for the real danger or the real threat is a united society. And that's what the US stands for there. So it's a play on the word. You know, people hear dangerous and normally attach it to a negative thing per se, but for me, I just wanted to take that and change it around and be dangerous in a positive way. It's a movement. It's about being different, standing out, not being afraid to express yourself, to be who you are, about trying to come together for the right reasons, and not allowing the divisive nature of what we see and what we're fed in today's society to keep us apart. And one of the best ways to kind of do that is fashion. You know, fashion and music. People come together for those two things every single day. So that was my way of like, okay, this is a way I can express my creativity. I've always loved clothes and fashion, but also do something positive with it and have a positive meaning behind it.
Okay. Yeah, your hat and your sweatshirt, I
Yes.
assume, are part of
Yes.
the.
Yes. These are
If some,
from past collections there for sure.
there you go. If someone was interested in exploring what you're offering, how would they find it, on the internet or
Right now,
Facebook
yes,
or
on
what?
my social media pages. So Isaiah Keez, I haven't made it a website with it because I've been dabbling in it for about a year and a half, and I really wanted to take my time with the clothing. I wanted to learn the industry. I want to learn the right ways of locating the right manufacturers, because that's a very important part. I finally found a manufacturer out of Pakistan. It took me forever to find these people,
Mm-hmm.
and I took a lot of losses on the way of trying different companies that didn't work out or just getting scammed. It's a ugly, rough road to begin with, and I want to make sure that once I do it officially and launch it officially, that I'm prepared for the success. A lot of people,
Okay.
kind of try to prepare not to fail, but they don't really prepare to succeed in my mind. And so music right now is more of the main focus, and I've been using my brand to uh, as a representation for my merch as an artist, Isaiah Keez. And then probably by the year end here, I'm gonna do an official launch, website, the whole 9 yards. I'm at that point where I'm feeling like I'm kind of ready and able to get an inventory stocked up, and I've got a few collections already in mind and in place. So I'm just making sure I'm taking my time and prepared, but it's on the way here officially soon. But right now, if you want anything, any of my social media pages, Isaiah Keez on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and I have posts with different items on there. You can just reach out and message me if you like. And then I'm also doing local events all the time, pop-ups.
Okay. And again, Keys is spelled Keez.
Yes,
Okay.
Keez. Yes.
Okay. Now let's go back to the music. If you were to meet a young artist who's just starting out, what advice would you give them?
Patience, but persistence. A lot of the times when we start out, we it's kind of like the honeymoon phase in a relationship. Everything's good. You're excited. You're passionate. You know what I mean? You've got all the hopes in the world, and then after that honeymoon phase, you get smacked with your first, relationship problem, and it's like, whoa, now real life is hitting us. You know what I mean? But to be patient, be patient. Be persistent and consistent. Consistency is key. Like everything with the way the industry is set up now, with the algorithms and streaming and social media platforms, it's about consistency. The more that you stick with it, the more that you're consistent with your dropping music, with doing shows, with selling merch, whatever it may be, just constantly being in the face of people and not giving them a chance to forget you, because there's a million people trying to be artists, and the goal is to make them remember you. And so the way you have to do that, it takes time. Like, I know this is the microwave era, and people think one little viral post is
Yes.
all it takes. Yeah, that can happen, but that's, man, it's a needle in a haystack for people that it happens that way for. So have a plan. Look at research into the industry. Don't go in this thing blind and just throwing money at things and not doing your due diligence, because you're going to invest a lot before you get anything back. Being a musician, being an aspiring artist of any kind, it's a struggle lifestyle. There's not a lot of fun and that you can really have outside of what you love doing with music, because if you got spare money and you're doing this, you're probably not putting you're all into your
Yeah.
music. You really have to
Mhm.
like sell all the way out and dive all the way in, believing in yourself that this is going to happen. If you don't, it just won't work. And it can be a scary thing, but I personally have always been the type of person that I'm willing to bet on myself 100 times out of 100. Win, lose, or draw, I know what I'm capable of. I know, uh, the abilities that I have, and I'm not saying that in a conceited or a cocky way, but I'm willing to take a chance on myself. I've never been the person that's been afraid to do that. And most of the time when I take a chance on myself and I've stepped out there and believed in something and I've made it happen. So hopefully, I'll continue on doing this with music as well. But if you really aren't serious about working hard and giving it everything, don't do it.
That's great advice. And I think we can generalize it from just the music industry to any industry that you're starting, whether it's construction or whatever.
Mhm.
Now let's talk about you. We just talked about the new person coming into the field. Where do you want to be in 10 years?
In 10 years, I hope to be at the executive level in the industry. I hope to be at a place where I'm able to help other artists achieve their dreams, be able to invest in them, not just financially, but have the wisdom, the connections, things of that nature to be able to make a star, and help someone else do the same thing that I aspired to do, 10 plus years ago. So that's where I plan on being. I also plan on being, basically just a CEO in my own right, having multiple different investments, companies, businesses. My clothing brand, the music side. I want to do, different nonprofits because I'm very big on community. I believe that giving back is a must for people that to whom much is given, much is required. And when you pay it back to people, it gets returned to you every time. You're never gonna lack if you're somebody with a lot and you help and you give to others. You're never gonna lack for what you need because one, on the business side, the better the businesses are doing around you, the better it is for you. Essentially, there, and then also just in the community side, uh, the stronger the community is, the more sturdy the infrastructure to build each generation up and then take it to another level, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and then you look around and you have a place where thriving is the norm. I'm not gonna say everybody's gonna get rich, but just thriving, you know what I mean, being able to do and have the life that you want.
That's really great. And I warned you about this. Let's close the show. Can you give us a minute or two of solo rap? You can
Oh,
freestyle it or a piece
oh,
of piece
yeah, I
you want.
mean, yeah, I can do a little something there. That yeah, that I'm gonna
Just
try
a minute.
to.
We have about 3 minutes left. So go with it.
All right, well, so let's see here. I'm trying to take your mind to higher frequencies, but most can make it harder than it needs to be. Give you something different than that killing and women losing decency. Mean no disrespect, but that's just really all it seems to be. Got y'all out here imitating things these rappers never do. Artists stuck in gimmicks and they deal they sign they never knew. Leading folks astray is how they pay it when they said it's due. This about to stir up in your spirit. I'ma let it stew. About to break the mold and go against the guidelines. Someone's got to do it, and I'm not waiting on the sidelines playing with your life to make a buck like you could buy time. I hope they pay attention when they hear me spit these lifelines. Not a trapper, but I'm doper than a kilo Pete. Oh, woo! Oh man.
Well,
All right.
thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That was
sir.
that was terrific. I want to wish you the best in the career. Your career will be seeing more of you, and for the audience, I'm sure they're going to be starting to look for you. And do you have any upcoming gigs that you can tell us about? We're
Yes.
recording
So
this in late August of 2023, so
yes, indeed. I am. So right now, there's one that I don't want to speak too soon, but it might be an opportunity this coming up week here that just popped up to open up for Sada Baby. He's a major artist out of Detroit. That's one of the top artists in the industry right now, and so that would be a real big opportunity there. We're going down to Cleveland as well for the Nerves DJ. 50, I think 50 hip hop 50-year anniversary. They have this big weekend kind of event list there. So doing a media day there, as well as a performance that weekend. And then we'll be in Atlanta, I believe, I think the last weekend of September or the first week of October, one of those two. But we have that. And then I have some local things coming up as well. Like I just got picked up here for Rick Lay and the Lions Only gym there. He's going to have Alex Simon, this motivational speaker and famous musician from the area. But he's like, I think in Orlando now, and he's doing crazy big things. He's coming to speak to the kids, and they just booked me to open up and perform for him as well. So it's a lot happening right now. I can't really say all the things that's going to happen for the rest of the year because I got to keep certain things under wraps. But there's a little glimpse right there in the near future.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in your career, and people will be hearing about you shortly. I want to thank the audience. I'm Pete Holloway. I hope you have a great week.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Reese Burnside. I'm a speech pathology and audiology major. Today I'm going to show you what it's like to be in this program. So now we're going to my oral rehabilitation class.
So today I figured we would just continue on with talking a little bit about auditory training. For an individual to have actual verbal communication, that we have to have working hearing instruments.
The speech pathology and audiology program gives you a very well-rounded education. You get to experience everything from the classroom setting to the clinical setting. What's unique about it is that the classroom sizes are small, but it allows you to get to know your classmates and teachers better. In this program, a student can expect to take classes in audiology, speech pathology, and communication disorders. This major is good for others to consider because it gives them a lot of career options and opportunities, plus you also get to help people. And some of the things you can do professionally with it is you can work in a hospital setting, a school system, private practice, even things like telehealth. So now we're heading to my dementia class.
Since our class is geared toward Alzheimer's and dementia, I wanted to give you guys a little taste of what it might feel like to be living with brain change.
Well, the dementia class it's a graduate level class, but they offer it as an elective for undergraduates as well. And in the class we learn about the different types of dementia and how it affects families and the patients themselves. The way that speech pathology is connected to dementia is that speech therapists actually help patients who have dementia try to gain communication skills back that they may be losing over time. And audiologists actually help people with dementia because if someone has a hearing disorder and then they aren't treated properly or treated at all, then it can lead to dementia. So they can actually help prevent it. So the activities we did in the dementia class was a reflection of what it would kind of be like if we had dementia. And that would be like your senses would be affected and you'd have to try to do these everyday tasks that people with dementia may have to try to do. And we got to kind of see what it's like and got to experience how tough it may be for them because they don't have all their senses like to the fullest of their abilities. So that was kind of like experience what it was like for them. So now we're going to go to the speech and hearing clinic to do some practice work. The Orange Campus Clinic gives us all a great opportunity in the speech path program because it just allows you to get that hands-on experience that a lot of undergraduate programs don't get. Plus we also get to observe and see our own teachers at work. The clinic is actually open to the general public where the graduate level students treat them and they are supervised by faculty. The reason I chose to major in this program was because I've always had an interest in speech pathology and there's a lot of career opportunities in this field. Some of my goals include graduating with my master's in speech pathology and obtaining a job in the education system. The great thing about West Liberty is they actually offer a master's program in speech pathology so I can finish and actually get my master's here. Well, I'm also a member of the track team here at West Liberty where I pole vault. Being an athlete on a track team is a great experience. All my teammates and coaches are very supportive, plus I get to continue to do what I love to do. Track is creating a better student experience for me by allowing me to have opportunities I may never have had if I never did it, and also by allowing me to meet new people. For example, I got to be part of the conference winning team this season. Thanks for following along with me today, and for more information, please go to our website.
Hi, I'm Ella McFarland, and I'm a sophomore in the dental hygiene program, and I'm going to show you my hometown, Marietta, Ohio. And now we're going to go to the Levy House to get a bite to eat with my dad. Marietta, Ohio is a small town in southeastern Ohio in the foothills of the Appalachian. It's a very small town with only 13,000 people in it. I like how diverse it is. You can have the city life being right in the middle of Marietta, or you can live the country life just right outside, but it still offers great opportunities, and it's a great place to raise a family and to potentially retire someday at. I would say it's known for the small shops, small businesses, and the river and all the beautiful scenery that it holds, and also its rich history that not many people know about. And now we're going to go to downtown Marietta and explore. I qualified for the Metro rate because I live in one of the counties surrounding West Lib, and it was definitely a deciding factor on where I went, having to pay for my own schooling, so that was a great opportunity for me. I chose West Liberty because of the small campus. I knew that I would not do well in a big school. I like having a small community around me like I have here in Marietta. I also came to West Liberty because of my major, dental hygiene. They have the best dental hygiene program around, and that was a big opportunity for me. It was a big transition leaving my parents, but West Liberty has a lot of great opportunities and make me feel better being away from where I've been my whole life. The thing that I used to do in high school is just going to all of the games and supporting all of the different sports, basketball, football, everything, and I've continued that at West Liberty. I love going to all the acro meets, basketball games, football games. They're always a blast, and we always have a lot of fun with all me and my friends. And now we're gonna go explore Mound Cemetery. Marietta has a lot of rich history, including the Mound Cemetery. The mound was significant because it was built between 100 BC and 500 AD. The Mound Cemetery is a sacred burial grounds which holds the most burials from the American Revolutionary War. It also holds Rufus Putnam. Rufus Putnam was one of the first investors who led the first settlers here in Marietta. Marietta was the first permanent settlement in the United States in the Northern Territory and west of the Ohio River in 1788. It was originally known as Adelphia, which means brotherhood. Some of the company's investors decided to rename it Marietta after Queen Marie Antoinette of France, to honor France for helping the U.S. in the American Revolution. Thanks for visiting my hometown, Marietta, Ohio. Please check out West Liberty University.